Counselor, for a bright fellow, you sure are slow getting the picture sometimes.
You're listening to League Podcast, a League Do-Over, Part 1, CapeFear, 1962. I'm Matt Durson.
I'm Gregory Peck, and to my left is Clay Inferno.
You sound like Sam the Eagle.
I know, it really, it's like, I can't, that's like my imitation of everyone. It's like Destro sounds like Sam the Eagle, whatever.
It sounded kind of like Gregory Peck. It's all right.
We're good.
I guess I never get to introduce myself.
I just introduced you for yourself.
Okay, fine.
Did you have a thing, though? Did you have a name for yourself?
I was going into a whole Robert Mitchum thing, and I was talked over again. I'm used to it. It's a Clay Inferno. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's just start over. Let's start the show over.
Thanks for having
I'm
me
Sam
on.
the Eagle.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
Well, thanks for being on, Clay. We appreciate you giving us the time. So anyway, yeah, we've done some do-overs. We did Thomas Crown. And did we do another one?
Yeah, we did the Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, that's right. The Manchurian Candidate.
You're like Manchurian Candidate blocked out of your mind that
well, kind
Vera
of. Vera
Farmiga was in the, or whatever her name is in the
Formaggio.
the remake. Formaggio.
I guess that, so we're kind of like, I think with Thomas Crown, at least maybe you can dispute this, but like this, the remake was better, I think. In the Thomas Crown affair.
Yes.
But with the Manchurian Candidate, the original was definitely better.
Yes.
And now we'll see. We'll get there. But let's see
the
what
other one's
happens with
Scorsese.
Right.
Marty. I call him Marty.
Right. You and Marty. Sure. The next Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I'd like to use that reference, and I think everybody thinks I'm stupid when I do.
Well, I know what you're talking about. It's from Singles. Anyways, yeah, so 1962, this was made by Gregory Peck was actually a producer, and Lee J. Thompson was the director, and they got Robert Mitchum to play the bad guy after they gave him a case of bourbon. Did you guys read this?
I did not.
He didn't want to do it, and they really wanted him, and then so he said, all right, I've drank your bourbon, I'm drunk, I'll do it.
Oh, it's like us when we were doing pandemic podcasts.
Yeah. Watch alongs.
I wasn't even drunk, but I had fugue states.
I mean, I was definitely, when I think back, I'm like, wow.
I was like, we should take those down and redo them.
No way. No one's ever going to go back that far anyways. They don't even listen.
Yeah, that's true. It was over 100 episodes ago.
Who knows? Maybe I was eating a gummy or something.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, did you know how they made that sound?
We're talking about Star Trek here, Clay. Why are you doing
Yeah, but it's like we're watching along, man.
Well, anyway, so after Gregory Peck gave the role to Robert Mitchum, so this is a quote. I don't know where it's from. It's on IMDb. It doesn't say like where, but the quote is, I had given him the role, or should I read it in Sam Eagle? No, I'm not going to.
Given him the role. And then
I was doing it much better when I didn't have to do it on mic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just take your word on that.
Yeah,
anyway.
You should hear my Morgan Freeman. It's also terrible.
It says, I had given him the role and had paid him a terrific amount of money. It was obvious he had the better role. I thought he would understand that, but he apparently thought he acted me off the screen. I didn't think highly of him for that. It's kind of funny.
Weird.
Yeah. That's a little thing. Maybe something's going on in the set there.
The thing I had heard that Gregory Peck was like, I know my role is the boring role. Just make sure I don't get lost in the story, that I don't become subservient to, so.
Well, I think he didn't really want to play the bad guy because he was also, the same year this came out, he played Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. So,
which I just watched about 3 weeks ago, which is an excellent film. And he won an Academy Award and also named the 20th century's greatest film hero because of that role.
Wow.
Very well.
And then I finished second as Special Agent Hunt in Durst and Firestarter.
Yeah, it's tough competition there.
Don't forget about my nom. which was me eating food in the background. Nom nom.
No,
nom.
no, no. Yes, very good one, Clay. All right, so this is based on a novel called The Executioners, but they didn't really like that, I guess. And so apparently Gregory Peck was just looking at a map of the United States.
Well,
'cause
he
said,
thought that movies with titles of a place sold well. He
Right.
mentioned Casablanca and Dodge City. So yeah, continue. I'll stop.
And then, he just saw the word CapeFear in South Carolina. No, I'm sorry, North Carolina. I was thinking South Carolina because that's where you just got back from, but
That's correct.
North Carolina. And he said, that's the one. And it's a good title, but it doesn't have any, I guess, they're in Cape, they go to Cape Fear at the end.
Yeah. So,
We'll
it's
but the
just
Executioners
a good
isn't very good either.
What do you mean?
It is a good, the Executioners.
Oh yeah, I
isn't
thought you
really
said the
very
execution of the movie
Oh,
was
no.
very good.
No, the
I
title
actually
of the book.
thought I misheard you when I thought you said Back to the Future isn't a good name either.
Jesus.
I think
Welcome to our new series called Misheard.
They call
That mumbles.
no, substance-free,
Big boy did it. Big
but
boy did it.
completely old and can't hear anything.
That's right.
3 deaf guys.
Because of all that substance
Three-
abuse.
3 deaf bunkos in a tower.
Listen here, Buster.
The other thing about the novel, right, is that Max Cady was apparently an army vet or whatever.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He had raped a 14-year-old girl, which is why he was in prison. And apparently also, Sam Bowden was also, I guess he was a lieutenant or something. But yeah, so that part's the same. But apparently when they went to adapt it into a movie, they thought
Well, the
it would be too
censors
much of a-
were
right.
they were like they're doing everything to dance around the word rape.
Yeah, it's never said. But also they thought that it would be a black mark against
against the military.
military personnel. So they took that part out.
Because no one in the military would ever do something terrible. Not that I'm saying I hate the military, anything like that. I'm just saying in general, there are always shitty people doing shitty things somewhere.
Everywhere. It
There's
doesn't matter if they're military.
There's statistics. You can look up the amount of reported sexual assault cases in the military, going back 50 years. Oh, well, you used to be able to look that up.
Right.
Oh, boy.
That's all been, I'm sure it's expunged. Nothing against the military.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right,
want to
so,
come across like that. No. My father was in the military, and my grandfather. So, hey,
My father's gay.
Yeah, well, that part's not true. Even though I know
No,
that
that's not true.
reference.
Right. This is kind of a bummer, I guess, but because the movie didn't do well at the box office, Gregory Peck's production company went out of business after this movie.
That's too bad. But they did the Guns of Navarone before it, so at least
he did some good movies. It's a hard sell in 1962, I think. Creepy guy going after young girl. Yeah.
You're much too young, girl.
Is that Christmas song I don't know?
Oh, no. Never going to live that down.
It was
Clay.
just me. Oh, don't know Clay yourself.
Clay. Any more knowledge drops before we get into the meat of the story here?
No.
All good? Okay.
Can insert some along the way.
Of course. And I hope you do.
Just like Max Cady's trying to insert something.
I will say I didn't used to be like this, but Thurston, you read my Nosferatu review.
Yes.
I'm
indeed.
actually kind of into. I've come around. I had a certain vision or an opinion about Rotten Tomatoes. This is a really good Rotten Tomatoes score. 92% critics, 86% audience.
That's a very good score. Yes, it's very good.
But I used to be like, I don't want to read what other people think of the movie. But now I'm kind of it kind of does give you a good flavor, and especially if they're wildly different. The critics hate it, but the audience loves it or whatever. But this one, pretty high scores all around.
It is interesting, yeah. And it's almost always that the critics might hate it and the audience loves it. I don't think it's ever the other way around, although I'm sure there's some movie somewhere where the audience hated it and the critics loved it. But Someone can correct me on that, but I'm sure it's usually the other way around. Yeah. We start off.
I have one knowledge drop. Alfred
please, go
Hitchcock
ahead.
did the storyboards for the movie.
Oh, no kidding.
'Cause I think he was
Oh,
originally
really?
interested in directing or something and then dropped out, but he did storyboards. So there's my knowledge drop.
Interesting. I did know that J. Lee Thompson. Did I call him Lee J. Thompson earlier? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
His name is J. Lee Thompson.
You can call him Jay, or you could call him Ray.
You could call him Ray J. You could call him J. Lee.
He was a fan of Alfred Hitchcock, and he wanted to have sort of Hitchcockian elements.
He
wanted it to be black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted sort of different angles and lighting and everything, an eerie score.
Yeah, I've been walking around the house just going. So that's what I
Does
do.
Jen keep turning around like, oh.
Yeah, and then it just turns out to be a hat rack.
And there is another Hitchcock thing. The house, it's the Psycho house, the one that they
the interior, right?
Yeah, the interior.
I could tell.
Where
I
he
could tell
brings
when they
the
were running up.
prostitute.
When they're running up the stairs, I could tell because it's the stairs that the guy falls down. That's in this movie. Dutton.
Right? Yes. Yeah. What's his name? Robert Dutton.
Pattinson.
What?
No. Okay.
Pattinson. No, Pattinson. That guy. Anyway, yeah. So that is. I mean, that house has been used in a million movies, and it's still there. It's on the Universal Studios tour.
Yeah, we saw it.
If you ever go out there. Yep. It's pretty cool. Anywho, so we're walking through this town. We see this dickhead walking up the stairs. He knocks these books out of this lady's hand as he's walking by. His name, and he says, "Where's Sam Bowden hang out?" And this is Robert Mitchum in all his Robert Mitchum.
This is our second appearance of Robert Mitchum on the podcast, where he did the voiceover in Tombstone.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah.
Second appearance of Telly Savalas on a podcast too.
Well, there you go. Can't wait.
Now you can put those into categories.
Yeah, that's right. Put in our Telly Savalas category.
League.com/Telly Savalas.
Who loves you, baby? The League Podcast.
That's my next T-shirt.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, he tells him, he's in there. He goes into the courtroom, and Sam Bowden defending a case, whatever. And then he comes out and he says, "Hey, you remember me?"
He snatches the keys right out of the ignition.
Yeah,
Gregory Peck's
right.
Car.
Gregory Peck. So they give the backstory here. He sent him away. Sam Bowden testified against him and sent him away for 8 years. And then, so meanwhile, they're out in the street. Sam Bowden's in his car, and he's like, "Hey, how about that girl? Your daughter will look like that soon."
Yeah, she's wiggling on purpose.
I know, it's really...
And I think there's a shot later on where Robert Mitchum where he meets Gregory Peck at the bar, at the restaurant or whatever. And he's got a little wiggle in his ass, and I was like, he's doing that on purpose. He knows what...
He knows what turns him on. So anyways, yeah, but it's obviously a forebear of things to come. But yeah, and he's like, your daughter will look like that soon. So anyway, so Sam Bowden, he goes home, and we see his lovely family, his wife and daughter. His daughter is like 14, I guess. What is
15?
Maybe 15. Yeah. Okay,
but she looks like
pretty young.
She actually she looked. I don't know. She's one of those people that looks like an old person and a young person all at once. It's it's so weird.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad. Well, not sad, but just weird. I mean, it was hard trying to tell how old she was supposed to be.
Well, I heard it in some other review or retrospective of the movie where they mentioned her age.
Anyway, so they go out bowling. Yeah, the family goes out bowling, and Max Cady shows up there, and he creeps on a waitress.
Red Shirt Brian, the early years.
Yeah, right. So he kind of notices
Brian,
him.
I'm just kidding.
He notices him, and yeah, he's like, so that he calls. He's friends with the chief, the police chief, Chief Dutton, and he goes over to him. He's at another bar, and he's drinking. There's a lot of Budweiser in this movie. I don't know if you.
product.
Oh no, he goes over
placement.
to his house. Yeah,
Yeah, it's his house. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
It made me kind of want one. I can't have one, but I kind of wanted one.
Budweiser's
Nice
shit.
cold Budweiser. Yeah, but if you haven't had it in 15 years, they're like, oh wow.
Yeah, and you can do a lot better. I'll tell you that. But it's okay. It's all right. This is 1962. Budweiser was probably the king of beers.
Hey.
There was probably like 3 beers.
I know, to be the king of.
Schlitz,
There was a king, a queen, and a prince.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
I did see Bush in.
That's right. He does have Bush later. Head
I remember those ads.
Bush.
Well, he should get some of those Manscaped clippers then. He's got all that bush.
Oh.
Yeah, so he
Clay.
goes over to Chief Dutton's house. They're drinking buds, and he says, "I was at the bowling center," which I thought was a funny way.
I thought that was a funny phrasing too. And then he was down at the
bowling center.
He's talking about later. He's like, "Well, he was down at the bowling center, and he was antagonizing me at the bowling center."
So yeah, anyway, we get the full story now because he tells Dutton what happened. He was in Baltimore and he witnessed him assaulting a young girl and he tried to help. It's like he physically got involved. So, and then he was called as a witness. So it wasn't that he was like lawyering and got him put away.
Maybe it inspired him to start lawyering afterwards.
Maybe.
I was expecting Clay to start singing "Can I Get a Witness?" since he sang before.
I don't sing religious songs.
And he's having a song for every occasion. Yeah, he's like, we'll go pick him up. It's all very like.
Yeah, they got to run him out of town for vagrancy or something.
Yeah, they're like,
and they got to make sure
get him for vagrancy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in a bar, and so he's creeping on this. This is like a prostitute, right? Like this woman, or
Yeah, they were also in a bar with a Confederate flag in the background.
Oh, that hasn't aged that well. So yeah, the cops come in, and he tells the woman, "I'll give you an hour to get rid of your friends." And he also, so there was like I think he offered her like $20.
Yeah,
which seems like nothing.
Oh no, that
but
was
at
the waitress.
time-
It was the waitress.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, with this guy, he's like, "I'll get rid of your friend," and she's like, "Are you trying to pick me up?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah, I mean, doesn't mince words. It's Max Cady, but he is smart. He studied law while he was in jail. So he knows his rights.
Felt like I was watching The Wire.
This is pre-Wire. But anyway, yeah. So he comes in, like, so they have him in like at the station. Bowden comes in and they give him a strip search, Clay.
Yeah, I bet
you were excited about that.
A possible knowledge drop. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently Robert Mitchum used to sort of wear like a girdle under his clothes to shape himself a little better. So that's why he's like super sucking in his stomach, in all these scenes. Even Mrs. Elder is like sucking the gut,
Wow. I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. You know what?
Yeah.
Forget it.
At this age,
if I gotta be shirtless, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm alone in basically a vocal booth right now. I have 3 layers of Spanx on.
You don't want anybody walking by that booth.
Robert Mitchum always looks like he's like squinty, like he just woke up and it's a bright day. He's like, what?
Maybe he was still drinking that bourbon.
That could be it.
So the funny thing is, though, about this strip search, he keeps his underwear on and his hat. Well, that was
as one does.
Yeah, you don't want to get hat head or anything. So the thing is, so he has like $900 or something. They said in the bank.
I thought it was 5,900.
Oh, you're right.
Because he sold his farm or something, the family house or something.
Yeah, that's correct. So he
had
money
like
in the bank,
$7 in his wallet.
Right, but they can't get him for vagrancy because he technically has money. He knows the thing, but yeah, he says.
Can you imagine like getting in trouble for being like broke? Like they'd be like,
I know, I would run out of town.
Last year I would have been locked up.
Yeah, like, oh, let's see your bank account and how much money you have. And it's like, I don't use cash. I use Venmo.
Yeah, I don't have any money.
Show me your Venmo balance, boy.
I got Bitcoin.
That's not worth anything either.
You're
definitely going away. You're definitely going over vagrancy there. But anyway, yeah, so Gregory Peck, like, they can't do much, but he says, well, stay off my property.
Yeah, this is not bad either.
And he chuckles. I love it. Katie's just like, ha! But they release him. Anyway, yeah, they cut to, Bowden and Dutton.
One of the things is, in the earlier scene where they're drinking buds, he's asking if he's got a dog. And he's like, oh, yes,
Oh,
I got
right.
a dog who can't even bite through a donut. And
This is a funny face.
so he's like, well, that, at
Donut.
least that'll make you aware of when he's around, you know?
Right,
You're
right,
just
right.
like,
It's true.
because
That's
they really
good.
play up the dog thing at one point where he comes home with the daughter and they do,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I'm sure that'll figure into the story. So.
But it is, it does come up in this scene because he's talking on the phone with them and the dog is barking in the background. And then the dog stops barking.
Well, it does that like
Yeah,
stereotypical
it does kind of
dog.
like and they go out and the dog is dead.
Dead.
Can I say, like, this is a little bit of a, not even a tangent, but like whenever there's two ways that they record the dialogue of somebody else speaking on the phone. I don't know if it's just like because I was listening on headphones. There's you can clearly hear what the other person is saying version. And then there's the Charlie Brown version where it literally sounds like a cartoon. And it goes like, well, Katie, I can't believe you're doing it. And then you literally hear on the other end, and it's so it was so funny to me when I heard it. I was like, "What?" And then other times you could clearly hear both sides of the conversation, but I thought it was funny.
Now, Katie, stop practicing your trumpet while I'm talking to you on the phone.
So yeah, they get in the car, they rush the dog to the vet, and they're like, should she stay in the in the front seat or whatever? Like, should they bring the daughter, basically? And
can't leave her alone.
He doesn't want to leave her alone, right? But the vet says, yeah, looks like it was strychnine.
That's as bad as killing a human.
That's really, yes, that's right. Yeah. You don't see a lot of pet deaths in movies anymore.
That's
I probably
okay.
didn't see it then either, but yeah.
I thought those break me up more than human deaths.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Like in the Deadpool credits, it was like the guy that killed the dog in John Wick or whatever.
That's right. He was like the director, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Now, Sam has to tell his family about this Katie guy because he's obviously suspects that he did it. And he tells his daughter not to leave the house or school unless you're with an adult. They have this weird, I don't really know. It's like a montage of the wife sort of sleeping and tossing and turning, but like he's like.
But remembering a conversation from her. They did that a lot in older movies where they'd be like sleeping and then like heads would appear and say weird stuff around them.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Lisa needs braces. Vapor lock.
Dental plan. Yeah. I know. It's like an old PSA or something like public service now. Yeah, don't leave the house unless you're with an adult. But yeah, it's weird. Whatever. I mean, it was a different time. So then she wakes up in the middle of the night alone. Yes, and as we mentioned earlier, she's walking around the house and she gets scared by the hat rack.
Jump right out in front of me.
So Sam is out there talking to a cop. Anyway, that's all it was. It was just one of those sort of like jump scare type moments. Like, was it Katie? No.
Kind of Hitchcockian kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the cinematography in this scene is quite good.
Right.
Even if the payoff is a little goofy.
So anyway, Sam is in court, but he gets called out to talk to Chief Dutton again. Because apparently Max Cady hired himself an attorney, this guy named Grafton.
Which I believe in the remake, Gregory Peck plays that part.
Yes, I believe you are right. And they was kind of what they were like, because he was arrested and whatever, and like they were poking around his finances and stuff, he had two landlords throw him out.
He's like, on Monday, this happened. On Tuesday, this happened. On Wednesday, this happened. And Dutton's like, it's Thursday. We almost done here? No.
But I kind of like it. They use the term rousted. He was rousted.
Yeah.
I thought that was a funny
term.
Yeah. It's such an old school thing to say. You don't hear about people being rousted anymore.
Well, the South, they probably still say it.
Probably still roust people down there.
Yeah. Well, no one mentioned rousting when I was down there, but I may not have been listening close enough. I thought they were saying roasted.
So anyway, but he's got a lawyer, so you got to be careful. So anyways,
I know my rights.
That's right. And Dutton says, why don't you hire a private investigator to keep tabs on him?
I know this guy Kojak down at the precinct.
No, he hires Telly Savalas. Oh, so excited. Good to see Telly.
Yeah. In an interview I saw with Gregory Peck, he's like, and Telly Savalas wasn't really well known yet. I don't think he had his television series. I was like, his television series came like 15 years later. Yeah, he didn't have his show yet.
Yeah.
Buddy.
So there we see Katie. He's driving along with a dame. I would never use that term
earlier.
Yeah, like the one from earlier. He goes into the...
But she's spending the whole time just berating him, too. She's like, it's great to know that I can't get any lower than you, and you're just a douchebag who just...
It'd be great if she called him a douchebag.
That would have been quite funny for 1962.
Yeah, so anyways, Telly Savalas, his name is Seavers. I guess we might as well call whatever, but he calls the cops, and he's like, he's in a hotel. You can get him for lewd vacancy now. Now you can get him a lewd vacancy.
He's naked and poor.
Where's your shirt?
Where's your girdle, man?
It's actually a crypto shirt. Worth a lot of money online.
So the girl is on the bed. She's wearing her like sort of provocative nightie.
She looks like Mary Tyler Moore to me. Provocative.
So she tries to get out of there, and Max not having it. There's some rustling,
rousting, perhaps even.
Well, they don't roust him because by the time the cops show up, Max is gone. He actually jumped out a window or something, or escaped out the back, whatever. But she is there,
Batman style.
Yeah, and she's been beaten, and I assume raped. Again, not said.
I believe in the remake. I'm pretty sure we'll find out exactly what would happen in the similar scene.
Right. So anyway, she's just wrapped in her sheet. At the cop, when the cops show up, one guy says something weird happened to her. Like, that's not really the best way to describe what just happened to her.
They're like, why don't you send Telly Savalas in to talk to her? And he's like, he gives the least like you wouldn't inspire me to testify against him because it's like you just gotta do it. Oh, a guy like that can't run free. Listen to the passion in my voice. I'm pleading with you. It's just really bland. You're making a bland argument, Kojak.
These cops are pretty lame, too. They're like, how about, send that guy in.
Yeah, the guy doesn't even work. He's like not even working for the police. Yet he's always at the station, just hanging out.
He's like, someday. They'll just... Anyway, so she calls a cab. He's like, come on, we can put him away. But no, she's not having it. That's the end of that. I mean, that kind of is the end of that. Like, it doesn't really go anywhere.
She apologizes when she passes by Gregory Peck on the stairs.
So now Telly, I kept writing Telly in my notes.
On the telly.
Seavers, he's like, there's other ways you can get to guys. So
he's like, you're a lawyer, you believe in due process, but this guy's an animal.
Yeah. He says, they'll fight him like an animal. So he suggests hiring some thugs to beat on him. And Sam's like, no, I won't do that.
I won't do it.
The Bowdens are out painting their boat. They got a boat.
The Bowtons.
The Bowden boat. Yeah, right. The Bowdens.
I have a knowledge drop about this scene in a minute.
Staining the boat.
Yes. All right, staining it. That's probably correct. Yeah, I mean, that is correct. Thank you, Clay. So meanwhile, Katie is watching from not too far, actually, but he's watching
it's like from above,
And he's drinking a bud.
Just outside, no paper bag or nothing.
Yeah,
it's a different time.
No.
Smoking a stogie. That's why I was noting that the fact that so many people smoked back then, that like the fact that he was smoking a cigar right behind them at the bowling center.
The bowling center.
They don't even notice because just everybody smoked back then. It's probably just a low-lying cloud of smoke right above them.
That's what I was telling the guys, the young kids at the club that I work at. The
center
I was like,
that you work at?
The rock and roll center. But I was like, you guys wouldn't believe it. Because a lot of them smoke because they're like young punks or whatever. I was like, I used to have my own ashtray at the door, and you would like walk downstairs to the big room, 500 capacity, and everyone was smoking, but like 300 people were smoking, and you just didn't even know. You didn't even care. You just knew you were going to smell like smoke.
Everybody
later.
else's vice became your vice by default because you were just stuck in a room with them.
Yeah, that's like the least of the bad things that Max Cady does. I guess because he's smoking a cigar and most people smoke cigarettes. Maybe that makes him worse. I don't know. So anyway, Sam comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he makes a comment about his daughter. And then Sam starts swinging. He's going.
Yeah, okay, here's my knowledge drop for you.
All right, go
Apparently, Gregory Peck accidentally made contact with one of his punches. And Mitchum just kept playing the scene. But afterwards went to his trailer and was like, and collapsed because it hurt. And he said it hurt for a while. And he said something along the lines of, "I wouldn't want to mess with Gregory Peck with that right hook." Something like that.
Yeah. Didn't read that.
I did notice about the quote unquote choreography of that fight scene that it was like actually very kind of real. Like they're in hard shoes, like at the beach basically, and they're like clomping around, and it's kind of like a clumsy thing, which is actually what it's like when you fight. It's like realistic because it's not like it's not like the Daredevil in the hallway. It's kind of like whoa, duck out of the way. You're like clomp clomp clomp.
I would have punched him for wearing that dopey looking shirt.
Well, there are witnesses, and Max Cady's like, "I didn't do nothing.
You saw it."
It's kind of like, it's interesting. Like he's like needling at him. He's like, "Hey, I haven't done it." I mean, he killed his dog, but as far as nobody know, he can't prove that.
Prove it.
So, right. And you can't prove that him standing there is harassment. But anyway, that's all just building up to everything. So anyway, in the next scene, she's leaving school and she gets in her car, but all alone. There's no one there.
Because remember, she's not supposed to go anyplace without her mom or them. And I'm like, parent of the year, just leave the car.
Right. Open.
Yeah.
When there's someone stalking you. Yeah. Different time.
I was like, this is so, like, there had to be a better way to rationalize it than the way they do it in the next scene. It's just, but go on.
But yeah, this is weird. So she sees Katie. She runs out. Like she gets out of the car, runs back in the school. Katie is doing his like Terminator walk, where he kind of just saunters after.
It reminds me of that scene in Monty Python where they keep cutting to him running towards the camera.
Dun, 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 dun. But anyway, so she runs back out into the street. And so does she almost get hit or actually get hit?
No, well, she runs into the school and then thinks he's in there, but it's just like the janitor. Because I was like, what did suddenly gained 50 pounds or something? Oh, he must not be wearing his girdle or whatever in this scene because he's got a bit of a gut, that guy. It's just the janitor. Yeah, she runs out into him, then runs like, scared, and then, gets hit by the car.
Yeah. Because I
just
read
kind of
like,
grazed by the car, really.
She almost got hit. But it looked to me like she got hit.
Yeah, she got hit. Yeah.
But it's a whole scene. I mean, I kind of glossed over, but it's like a whole tension building type thing, like where she's running, trying to hide from him. And
everything's dark.
Apparently nobody else in this school. I mean, I work at a school.
Well, they all left. They all left except for the janitor.
The janitor, yeah.
And then the mom comes back from the store to the car, and the car door's open. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm the best parent in the world. I left my daughter with the psycho."
Where the fuck?
Yeah.
Where the hell was she?
Yeah, in the next scene, she's like, "Oh, I thought the store would just take a second." And it's like, what is fucking wrong with you? Pick up the daughter. Just pick up the daughter, then go to the store.
Yeah, right. Christ. Even if you don't have someone after you, you can probably do that. So anyways, now Sam's all mad. He gets his gun. He gets a gun out, and she's like begging him not to. She's like, "Call the cops," and then she calls the cops on him.
Yeah,
like she's like, "Yeah, there's a guy. He's about to commit a murder," but he comes back in, and he's not going to go shoot Max Cady for that.
Just a false alarm.
You're really going to murder somebody? Like that's fucked up.
Technically, he hasn't done anything supposedly, that anyone can prove.
Is that what you want? It was very emotional. She's
every time we mention murder, I think of the Private Eyes, where the guy freaks out every time he hears the word murder. I said I didn't murder.
So anyway, so they meet in the bar in the famous ass wiggling scene that you mentioned earlier. Yeah.
We get a little Robert Mitchum ass wiggle. His ass was wiggling too.
Isn't that the second? Did we make a Smokey and the Bandit reference? Oh, you mentioned Beef for Justice, but that was off air.
Off air, yeah.
So anyway, Sam wants to buy him off. He wants to give him $20,000.
Yeah, that's like the equivalent of $4 billion these days.
Seriously, yeah.
I love this scene. The dialogue going back and forth between the two of them, and he was like, "Hey, Buster, bring me a double over here."
My cousin left me enough money for more. I gotta say, I've never really thought much of Robert Mitchum, but I'm really enjoying his performance in this film.
Oh, I love it. He's
so
my
good.
favorite in this movie. He's my guy in this movie. And he's like, and then he's like, asks the waiter, he's like, "Do you have salted peanuts in the shell?" He's like, "No, sir, not in the shell."
Not in the shell. Fuck off then.
Go piss up a rope.
Go piss. I love that. But Max Cady tells an interesting story here about like, oh, he's got a kid.
Well, because he's like $20,000. What's that worth for 8 years and a family and stuff? And he's like, "You didn't know I had a family, did you?"
And he's like, "Yeah, that's like that's like $3,000 a year. I guess you haven't heard about the minimum wage requirements." It's so funny, so good. I mean, not funny, but like it is funny.
Right.
It's not funny, but it's just like funny, creepy, good.
Good acting.
Funny, creepy.
Yeah, So, but yeah, he's got like, he kidnapped the mother, or I guess it was his wife, whatever, raped her, or whatever. And then he's got this kid.
Like,
so
it's like he had a daughter and a wife. And then when he got thrown in jail for raping the thing, which Gregory Peck testified, then she left him, and then she ran off, like married a plumber, and they had a couple more kids. But then it was a whole thing where he was going to blackmail her, and then ended up just messing her up pretty bad.
Sam is like, "Oh, this guy's whacked.
This guy's all right." At least
why don't we just have a couple of Budweisers?
Right. Yeah, right. Oh, he doesn't even have Budweiser. He has the good stuff. He has like, don't they have like bourbon or something? Or whiskey?
12-year-old. Because my cousin here says nothing's too good for his cousin Max.
Yeah. So now Sam has changed his mind. He wants to hire the thugs. And they go and they try to beat him up. And one of the guys, like, does he cut him with like a chain? Does he like hit him with a chain? It's like pretty violent.
Right across the girdle.
But he runs them off. Like, he beats them off.
Yeah, and he's like, "I gotta go make a phone call."
He runs.
He does not beat them off.
Whack a guy off a guy. Whack off a guy.
They're beating up punks.
So then he calls the house. First, the wife answers, and she's like, "Oh." And Sam comes in. And who is this? But I love Katie's just laughing into their vote. And Sam does his best Mr. Burns. He just said, "Shut up, you."
Yeah, that was funny. Shut up, you.
Shut up, you. So, and he's like, "I got something planned for your wife and kid, counselor." Now Sam has got this whole plan now.
Well, first, right? It doesn't the lawyer come in and say, "I'm going to get you disbarred," and because he's like, you have to go up to Atlanta for this thing about the disbarment, whatever.
Right. Because what happened is one of the thugs, Max, beat him up pretty good, and he testified. So, like, he said, "Yeah, I was hired by this guy Sam Bowden." That looks pretty bad. So yeah, he's got to go to Atlanta to defend or to get reinstated or whatever, because he's getting disbarred. So he's got this whole plan. But meanwhile, Dutton's like, "I could arrest you right now." Like, what do you mean? What plan? But it's like, I'm going to actually go to Atlanta and turn around, come right back. My wife and daughter will be on this boat, and but I'll be watching, and he's going to think that I'm gone. Like, once because
he'll be following me to the airport, and he'll see me get on the plane, and then he'll go after them when, because he's following. And it's kind of elaborate, but not at the same time. Right.
The way he describes it sounded like a lot. He's like, "I'll swim back," or whatever. Like, "I'll swim back.
I'll hitchhike back to Savannah, and then from there I'll get an Uber and."
Right, but it is kind of like creepy that he's using them as bait, but that's, whatever. But
Apparently
Dutton's like,
Apparently in the book they actually send there's two sons also in the book.
Okay.
But apparently they send her off to a safe place. But that's not dramatic for a movie.
No, you can't do that. But he does ask for a deputy. He's like, all I need is one deputy. Because
all we have is Deputy Dog.
Troop? WT.
Deputy Dog.
Oh, Deputy Dog, what are you doing?
Deputy Dog.
God, I love Deputy Dog.
We watched that weird Deputy Dog. Remember that a couple years ago? We watched that Deputy Dog where they were filming a movie about the Civil War, but they were actually real Confederate soldiers that were still alive.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Well, we watched it after we recorded a podcast one night.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Was I drunk?
Probably. That's probably why I suggested
probably
it.
in that phase.
Yeah, 2020, man, it was rough.
Yeah. So anyways, he gets a deputy to help him out. Anyway, so he goes to the airport, and this is, again, a different time. Katie goes up to the girl at the counter. He's got a package, and he's like, where's that Sam Bowden at? He says, he got on the flight. He was on the plane to Atlanta. Yeah.
He's like, maybe you could give me his address, his phone number, his social security number, and everything else. Blood type.
His Venmo.
Yeah, where? Yeah. But, the ruse is working. So anyway, they're back. They're on the houseboat, and the mom and the daughter are there, and they're playing
Yahtzee or something.
Yeah, playing something. And they hear a boat coming, and she gets out the gun. His wife gets out the gun, and it's Sam and Deputy Kursick. They make it a point to say his name a couple times.
Yeah, they're like, here, why don't you wear this red shirt with the Star Trek emblem on it?
Right. So anyway, he calls Severs. He's like, where is he? And they don't really know, but does he go in and get a record player or something? Is that what?
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be making it look like he's bringing stuff to them. And that Katie will follow him that way.
Right. That's okay. That's right. Yeah. So Telly Savalas goes. He brings. It looks like a record player, but it just
does.
Stuff.
Yeah. Because they focus on it in one shot. And
then
whatever.
So meanwhile, it's all very dark, which is good. It's cool. It adds to the eeriness, but it's also kind of hard to see what's going on a lot in this movie, in the scene, because it's dark. Sam and Kursick are watching the boat.
What happens to Telly Savalas? Because that was when I was working and had the movie on the background.
I think he just disappears.
Nothing? He doesn't get killed or something? Because when he's on that little boat and and the guy's like, all the rivers look alike down here, so follow this thing, and doesn't get killed.
No,
he just leaves.
I think he just leaves. It's weird. It's like, man, I'm not getting paid enough to fight this guy. Because I mean, spoiler warning, I seem to remember in the 91 version, it's Joe Don Baker, right? And he gets killed, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, you can kill someone for breaking and entering your house or whatever.
Right.
They kept saying trespass. You can't get him.
That's right.
Trespass.
You can't trespass on Krypton.
Yeah, Krypton.
Yeah, Katie, he takes off his shirt again just for you. He goes swimming.
So sexy.
It's all very dark and slow. He's watching.
I just want to say something about shirtless Robert Mitchum here again. One of the posters for CapeFear, it's like a split thing. It's like Gregory Peck, all looking tense with his gun, and then the other picture is Robert Mitchum kind of splayed in a sexually provocative position without his shirt on, crawling on the ground. It's really weird.
Well, hey, maybe he's like, if I'm crawling, maybe you can't see my gut.
You can't see my stomach hanging down.
Yeah. They've been staking out a while. Katie's watching the girl play ping pong a little bit. It's all Kursick. It seems like he's getting a little tired. He goes, he starts splashing some water in his face. And then Katie grabs him from behind and chokes him. And then he puts him in kind of dunks him under the water. So he, not a mark on him, basically, but it looks like he drowned. Yeah. So Katie's kind of smart, I guess. So he goes to the boat and he kind of sets it adrift, I believe is the phrase, right? He kind of just unties it from the dock.
Right. I think they call that rousting it.
Yeah.
He rousts it to the bowling center.
That's a good thing. It floated by this brothel.
Right. That's a Simpson.
We'll get there.
So Sam finds Kursick dead In the water.
Dad. Thank you for joining in finally, Clay.
Yeah.
We'll show you the reference at some point too.
I don't need it.
Good.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be as good now. So meanwhile, Katie gets on the boat. Sam is like not there. He's but he yells to the door. He's like, "Call the cops!" But Katie goes after.
Cops.
Katie goes after the wife first, Peg. I suppose we should call her.
I was going to call her that, and then I was like, wait, is that her
Peg.
name or is that the actress's name that plays her? So that's why I didn't.
Yeah, it's Peggy, whatever, Peg. So anyway, so she goes for like a knife because she was cooking or whatever. So there's like an egg. He like picks up an egg, which apparently was like not in the script or something. I don't know if that's true, but he squishes this egg and he wipes it all over, and it's kind of gross. But yeah.
Well, apparently Robert Mitchum is a bit of a method actor, so he also announced that when he was taking the part that he's like, this guy is a jerky, filthy rapist, and I live my parts. And I was like, oh, great, he's going to become a jerky, filthy rapist.
He's going to be doing a lot of raping.
I'm going to have egg on my face. I actually, it's not a knowledge drop, but it is a quote from Polly Bergen, if you'd like to hear it, regarding the egg scene.
Yes, of course.
His hand was covered in blood. That's my lady.
It's good. It's very good.
His hand was covered in blood. My back was covered in blood. We just kept going, caught up in the scene. They came over and physically stopped us. While about the physical incident, it also speaks to the raw and potentially unsettling nature of the improvised scene.
And also, don't get salmonella.
Well, apparently, like
little kid killer.
They were supposed to go like crashing through all these doors as like he's kind of rough with her, but like some crew member had like locked them, so like it was harder to get through than they thought. But Robert Mitchum just kept going, and so he cut his hand, and that's how there was blood on
his hand,
on her back. An egg.
That can't feel good on a cut.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's definitely a salmonella.
That's a situation. Yeah. Got to go to the salmonella center.
So he kind of he starts to proposition her, and he's like, you instead of Nancy, the daughter. It's just kind of like, it's getting.
He's like, I want to trade. He's like, what?
Yeah, you for her, and then you'll never see me again. Just kidding.
Right. But now Sam comes to the rescue. He's searching all over the boat, and
that's why I keep doing Sam the Eagle, because his name's Sam.
There you go.
There you go. I am Sam.
When he was in high school on the football team, he was known as the Eagle. I don't know. I just made that up
together.
An anti-American eagle.
I have a little bit of a Gregory Peck knowledge drop that he couldn't really do action scenes just throughout his entire career, because early in his career, he was doing like some sort of rehearsal for like a musical stage or something like that, and busted up his back something fierce. And for the rest of his life, he had back issues. So he couldn't really do any sort of like physical action stuff. Yeah.
Well, he gets a little into it here. I mean,
good on him.
First, he finds his wife, and she says, "No, it's Nancy." So
he's like, "No, you're my wife. Nancy's in the other room."
So he's going after her, and then Sam goes after him, but Katie jumps. He kind of ambushes him, and they fight. It's like he like drops the gun because they're fighting like in like the woods or whatever, or like on the shore, but marsh. Yeah. And Katie does this weird like sort of jump into the water kind of thing after. I don't know if you. I can't really describe what it is, but he kind of like woo, like he like slid down and like jumped on him, and he tries the choke move again that he used on Kursick.
Yeah. In reality, Gregory Peck said that when he would dunk him under the water, to let him know that he had enough, you just wrap him on the leg to let him have some air.
That's good.
I just like the fact that he's like, I just wrap him on the leg.
No, you're gonna wrap him on the leg.
Sam Bowden grabs a rock and whacks him with it. So that was a good one. And anyway, so he tells Nancy, "Run and hide." And then he gets this weird.
Good.
Katie gets this it's a big stick thing with like a weird screw on it. I don't know. It's a crazy weapon thing. I don't know where he got it.
Or is it?
Is it like a fire
know.
poker?
That's what I thought it was.
Because in the story that he tells him in the restaurant, he says, and then she came after me with the poker and tried to rap me on the head with it, or something like that. So maybe it's like a callback to that thing. That story was all made up. But if it was indeed a fire poker, would have been a good callback.
Yes.
No, let's just go with that.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's just
Thank you. I will accept my no prize. 1089 Commonwealth Avenue, box 295, Boston, Mass.
All right. So there's lots of stalking and stuff, but Sam he finds a gun and he kind of slowly goes for it, which I thought was kind of weird. He wouldn't just be like, "Oh my God,
there's the gun!"
Shoot him. Yeah, he kind of like, I guess he doesn't want Katie to see him. But anyways, he grabs the gun and he shoots Katie, and Katie falls, and he's going to shoot him again.
This is where I find find the ending to be a little underwhelming.
Yeah, so he doesn't shoot him because he decides he's like, send him back to jail.
You're gonna rot in jail for the rest of your life.
Kind of like
Shut up, you.
The black and white good guy, almost like the Batman thing. I'm not gonna kill this guy, but I'm gonna make sure he goes to jail.
Well, I mean, he told them earlier that like jail was just, the worst and whatever, like being in jail 8 years was horrible.
And you're hot.
Yeah.
And I was sweating for 8 years and it was so hot and I was sweating.
Yeah. So this is like worse. This is like a fate worse than death. I didn't interpret it as he's doing it because he's like a Batman kind of, I don't want to kill people.
I just interpreted it that he was like just a good man who just wouldn't kill. That's the way I took it.
That's what I meant by the.
Right. No,
I mean, it was weird that he's dressed as Batman in the scene, but
yeah, he's dressed as a 40s racist Batman.
yeah, the floppy-ish ears and stuff.
He's
got a paunch because that Batman was not in shape.
All right. I mean, I guess I didn't look at it. I should. Maybe you're right. I took it as he wanted to really stick it to him. Like,
that too.
That's
but he's
also
like
a good interpretation.
Yeah,
for
maybe
sure.
a little combination of the both.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, either way, he doesn't kill him, and he says, "I'm going to send you back to jail." So then they just. He is all mean though. It's great. It's great. This is probably one of those scenes where Gregory Peck was like, "Yeah, you're not going to outact me, Robert."
Yeah,
Mitchum."
I finally get the chance to do some acting in this film.
Yeah. And then they just show them on a boat going back, and it's daylight.
Very forlong looking.
Yeah. They're all a little, and scene. That's the movie.
Star wipe.
And then Chief Wiggum comes along and arrests Max Katie.
Take him away, toys.
So that's it. Yeah, that's 1962 CapeFear.
Bernard Herrmann, man. He was the dude. I also mentioned him in our North by Northwest episode. Go back and listen to that if you want to hear me talk about Bernard Herrmann for 2 seconds. Which you don't.
It's the best 2 seconds of that whole episode. All right, what do you guys think?
All right, here, I'll go first because you guys already said everything I had to say, and I always do shitty at these final thoughts.
Right.
I'm going to give it an A-. I like the story. Like I said, ending a little underwhelming because it would have been interesting to see like Gregory Peck pushed to the limit. The man who represents the law breaks has to like struggle with his own moral compass about killing. Robert Mitchum's performance, not over the top, which I like. Like there's always just this sort of like simmering like weirdness there to his performance. It's enough to be creepy, but not so much that he would stand out in a public situation. Unlike Robert De Niro in the next one where he's covered in tattoos and he's got weird hair and stuff and he's all jacked. So the way he plays menacing is much more subdued and like subtle, I guess is the way I'd say it. So, and Gregory Peck, he's my man crush from the 19 whatevers. And
60s?
Yeah, like from like the 40s to the 60s, he was the man. And overall, A-. I like it. There are some issues here and there, but overall, I enjoyed it. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. A-. Very good. Very well.
Very well.
Very well.
Should I go or?
If you want, I'm not going to have much to say, so I could go. Go ahead.
No, I'll go because I don't know. I kind of I don't disagree with anything you said. The acting is actually good. You're right. Robert Mitchum it's much more believable because he's not over the top, and you could actually believe, yeah, this guy does want to get back at this dude who sent him to prison. But I don't know. It's hard. I know we've said this before on other episodes that you can't look at a film from back then with current sensibilities or whatever. But I feel like this is kind of like an episode of Law and Order, or something. Like it's not. At the time, this was groundbreaking, probably, right? Like, oh my God, you're
sure
insinuating rape, never mentioning it, but I don't know. I feel like I guess it's good that it's simple, but it's almost too simple. It's kind of like easy.
Just like you. Now shut up.
Yeah,
shut
maybe
up,
it is. Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. Shut up, you. I'm not going to say it's bad, but I feel like it's, it's an easy watch. You're not going to watch it and go, boy, what a terrible movie. But if you were going to
boy, what happened to Telly Savalas?
That Kojak really let himself go. But
I think Robert Mitchum killed
what did happen to
the
him?
boats when they were riding around in the boats. That's where I think Robert Mitchum got him.
I'm
going to go look at the plot synopsis. Plot synopsis. There, I said it correctly.
Papas. Also, I just want to mention, I made a mistake. The egg was added by J. Lee Thompson, the director. It wasn't a Robert Mitchum.
Not CGI
thing. No, it wasn't CGI, but it was a last minute addition by the director. So they didn't know, like their reaction was real, but yeah, it wasn't something that was in the script.
Hey, according to Google's AI, Telly Savalas didn't appear in the 1962 movie of Cape Fear. The film starred Gregory Peck, Robert Mitchum, and Paulie Bergen. Telly Savalas is most known for the role as Kafune, a.k.a. KO, in the 1964 series The Longest Yard.
Wait, Telly Savalas was in the movie, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Am I wrong?
I'm just like, that's strange. It seems there's confusion. Max in the movie Cape Fear, played by Robert Mitchum, and Telly Savalas, who's most famous for his role in Kojak. In the movie, Max dies, but is not killed by the character Sam. This doesn't even make fucking sense.
Whenever I have what I know is like a false result from like an AI or something, I go, "Are you sure?" And it goes, "You're right. He was in that movie."
That's awesome. I'm going to do that now. Also, I want to say one other thing, because this is kind of a cool thing that I when I was reading about this before we got on here, like talking about Robert Mitchum's performance and everything. Apparently, he had a photographic memory, so he never memorized scripts. He just would read the lines like a little while before they shot and just go and do it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Meanwhile, Gregory Peck apparently would pore over it for like a long time and get it down. So like they were just completely different in that respect as well. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Imagine that. Photographic memory. Like, all right, what are we doing today? All right, I'll just...
Give me 5 hours to study the script.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, all right, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Give me a few minutes. But yeah, anyways, he's great. All the acting is good, except the daughter's a little weak. But
they wanted Haley Mills for that part, but she was unavailable because she was doing a Disney film, and then was doing another Disney film after that. So they're like, okay, we'll just get this.
I mean, you were contracted to a studio back then, so like she couldn't do other things. Literally, it's not like she's like, oh, I'll squeeze it in. Like no, that was it. She belonged to Disney.
Wow. The daughter's weak. The leads are weak.
You're weak. I don't know. I mean, I'll give this a B because there's obviously nothing really wrong with it. But like I said, I feel like it's tough to weigh it. Would it have been better if they could?
Well, you'll find out next episode.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right.
Where they could
get more intense. That was actually, well, we'll get there. But I don't know. I feel like it's. There could have been a couple more, like, well, maybe he could have killed Telly Savalas. Maybe he could have...
I'm pretty sure they killed Telly Savalas.
Something else. I don't know.
I killed Telly Savalas, apparently.
Just wiped him right out of the movie.
Just wiped him right out. Maybe it's a DEI thing against bald people. Just wipe that right off.
We're
Wasn't even
gonna
in it.
doge some of these bald people out of the movie.
All right. Well, anyway, B for me for Cape Fear 1962. It's it.
That's it. That's it for Durston.
Yeah,
Well,
that's it.
again, thanks
on.
for having me on. Clay Inferno here. I'm gonna go a little bit higher than Durston and give it a B plus. And I liked it. I like the noir. I like Max Cady as sort of agreeing with John that he's like actually a creep and insipid, that he's like torturing this guy by like being in front of him all the time and being like, I'm not doing anything wrong. You can't get me on that. I really like that aspect of it. That he's like, yeah, I'm gonna bother you. I'm not gonna
Well, it's intimidate,
outright,
really.
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna bother and intimidate you.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. He's like
Yeah,
waving his finger
yeah,
around his head.
Yeah. And the fact that they are so, for lack of a better word, like intimate, like they're like always like in a situation where they're talking to each other. They're not just like, it's not like an assassin. It's like, I'm going to get that guy. It's like they're like close and they have like conversations, and he's always talking to his wife about this fucking guy. I don't know what to do about this guy. I want to kill this fucking guy. She's like, don't kill the guy. Come on. And I just, crush aside, Robert Mitchum is my guy in this movie. I like his acting, and they're both great. I think the acting is just great all around. The only thing that would have gotten me a little bit closer to an A grade, I think, is if actually Hitchcock had done the cinematography, and not knocking the cinematography or the visual of this movie at all. It's great, but it's kind of like almost like what you said about like Law and Order. Like it's a stock good looking movie from 1962, but whereas Hitchcock has like that masterful kind of
it's
flavor.
one of Hitchcock's cinematographers shot this, so
true, but there's something
I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's a quality to Hitchcock
quite,
stuff that's miss. I did say to Mrs. Elder that during the scene where the thugs are beating on Robert Mitchum, if Hitchcock had shot it, it would have all been rear screen projection instead of on location.
Right. Yeah, so that's the thing that I think could have like elevated it for me. And it doesn't have to be Hitchcock. It could be anybody, like just a little bit more dynamism to
this director also directed like one of the last Planet of the Apes movies, so I guess that's what says the level of awareness he has in Hollywood in terms of just respectability.
I didn't know we were doing ape talk. I don't have any notes.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
Also, I just looked it up. I guess Telly Savalas does not die in the movie.
He just
He wasn't even in it, of course. So how can you die if you're not even in it? So.
ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. But anyways, B plus. That's not a bad grade.
Well. No, it's not.
No. They're all good
and
grades.
B isn't a bad grade either.
No.
Enjoyed it.
Everyone's passing.
Yeah, and then also,
I get a B.
I can't. I'm gonna watch the new one kind of with new eyes because yes, I like kind of forget everything, but I remember really enjoying that movie and seen it a bunch of times.
Whoa.
So
I saw it once in the theater when it came out, and I remembered not enjoying it that much. But that's almost 35 years ago, so we'll see.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I remember renting it, and sometimes it's hard to enjoy movies if you're kind of just sitting
watching
in your
it with
house
your parents.
Well, yeah, I don't think I watched it with my parents.
Scorsese, we've got
I went through a Scorsese
I call him
phase.
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
And I
Bobby Dinero.
I do have a fun little story about Juliette Lewis that I will share on the next episode. We call that hashtag teaser.
That's very good. That will be our next episode, of course. I feel like I would have given a better grade. I feel like Gregory Peck needed a little more like character stuff for us to know that he really is.
Yeah, he's definitely sort of a stock, like good guy in this, where I believe Nick Nolte is not.
All right.
So.
Well, I mean, like you said, like we want to believe, or I think we're supposed to think like he doesn't want to kill him because he doesn't kill people, but I want to really feel that, like I said, I didn't really get that message because I want to feel that he's a really good guy, like maybe like a courtroom scene where he's like defending some real.
I agree.
Person.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But I mean, no, it's big.
Well, one thing I want to say is that when there's a movie like this with a censorship concern or even Rear Window, I was talking about like the girlfriend staying over your apartment kind of thing, right? Like,
right. Tell the landlord.
Yeah. Those things don't bother me when the implied violence or the implied sexuality isn't there because of the censor. Like my brain just puts in the violence or the whatever it is, and I go, like, I just totally accept it, but I know what they're going for, you know what I mean? And it's not just because I'm like smart or whatever. I just go, oh yeah, they couldn't have done that at the time, and I get what they're going for here. So for some reason my brain just fills that part in, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna rape that girl.
Well, yeah, and I think that's it's almost like Jaws, where like the shark not working made it better because you never saw the shark. It's almost like whatever is in your mind is probably worse than what they would have put in the movie, even if it wasn't censored, right? So yeah, like that's kind of the way. It's better sometimes not to show those things, but
it's not like we want to see like Captain Kirk actually fucking aliens, you know what I mean? But he was fucking aliens. He was fucking Orions all over the place.
Hey, right? Yeah, we definitely don't want to see that. Talk about a girdle. William
Shatner. Watch the movie Big Bad Mama. It's William Shatner's only nude scene.
Oh no!
I tried to get that. I tried to get that for Bad Movie Night once, and then it became unavailable on whatever streaming.
William Shatner bought all the copies back.
They couldn't even stream it. So many people were trying to stream it at once.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah. So next episode will be our 1991 compare and contrast.
Yeah, got Mrs. Elder saying that now too. So here we go.
I feel like there'll be a lot of contrasts, but that's okay. Yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's why you remake things.
Who knows if
Psycho remake didn't work because there was no contrast. It was just the same goddamn movie over again. We're not doing that one ever.
No. Well, I would do the original, but I would
not
do the
original Hitchcock one. I'm not going to do
contrast.
Gus Van Sant would, yeah. Vince Vaughn. Ugh. So that'll be that. It'll be fun.
This
haven't
is
seen that
like
movie either. In a long time.
This is totally a sidebar, but I watched a YouTube video about the movie Funny Things. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
I don't know of it.
I think I maybe
Funny thing. I've never seen that movie.
Bull.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not. I meant to say Funny Games.
Oh.
Well, I haven't seen that one either.
Well,
I haven't either.
what is funny about this this do-over? It wouldn't even the first one is in Austrian, right? And he made it in 1997, and it's a psychological thriller, like kind of like these two teenagers, like almost in a, I guess, Clockwork Orange kind of way. Like they start torturing this like family. They like go into this family and they like, tie him up and stuff like that. Anyways, he made it in 1997 in Austria. And then in 2007, he remade the movie for Hollywood, and he made a shot-by-shot remake of his own movie. It's like so close.
Wow.
There would be like almost to little no compare and contrast. It would be like the only thing that would be different are like the actors. Like he even had like all the shots are the same. It's not on the same locations. Like the locations are different, but it's actually like, it's kind of cool.
Well,
that he had done that.
That movie, The Vanishing, that came out in the early 90s.
That
was a remake, but the same director did them both, but not shot for shot. In fact, the ending is quite different than the ending of the original. I think is way cooler than the remake.
Yeah, they kind of did the Hollywood ending.
Yeah.
The Funny Games one is with Tim Roth, and Michael Pitt, who was in what was he in? He was in like Hannibal or something like that. But anyways, Naomi Watts and Tim Roth are in the American one. I've seen them both actually, but it's a pretty creepy movie.
Sounds like you only need to watch one of them. So.
Well, just watch the Tim Roth one. Just watch the American one.
I guess it's one thing if you're remaking a movie that, you know, is in Austria and hasn't been probably seen by most of American audiences, and then you can just do that. But when you're taking Psycho, which is a movie that is beloved by millions, and you just do it shot for shot.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not bringing anything new to it. And even if you shouldn't remake Psycho anyway, it's just leave it. Leave it be.
Just leave it.
Great. What am I gonna do? I'm holding my pitch for the reboot of Psycho in my hands. I guess I'll just recycle it.
Yeah. Throw that away.
Recycle it. Oh. Hey, thank you. Good night.
And contrast.
All right. Well, thank you. Good night. Do you guys have any other final thoughts?
Nope. I want to say thanks to you, and don't forget to check us out on Stitcher and something wherever you get your podcasts.
I don't think Is Stitcher still around? Or
I don't fucking know.
Whatever. But
CapeFear, when you want the king of beers.
You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube, where Clay has artfully posted most of our episodes, recent episodes. I mean, we don't go back to like episode 200 or anything. But
we don't go back to the episode of Star Trek: The Motion Picture where we're completely wasted.
Yeah, let's do that one. But check us out there. We're just League Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And leave us a like and a review and all those things. And boom, thanks for listening.
There's actually a funny clip of a scene we were talking about bones from that episode that is on YouTube. So check out our shorts.
All right. Disco D,
like talking about his Vulcan mind. Oh, wait, no, that was I guess that was
Disco
3.
D is needed badly, I believe, right?
I guess that was...
Need you badly.
I need you badly.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the motion picture, actually. Maybe you're a little more sober by the time we got to 3.
Well, by the time we were like halfway through it, I was like, I'm tired of Star Trek.
And I was like, we're not going to do the next gen movies. Okay. Fine.
Well,
now I'd be willing to do them. It's been 5 years.
Sure.
You know.
It's been,
not a watch along. I can't do
not
this.
all in a row. Not all in a row, and also no one can see their friends or their family. Yeah.
Yeah, that was boy. Still,
when you can take a break,
I look
see
back
your
at those
friends and
days as the good old days, though. You know.
Yeah, those were fun.
Things could have been worse.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's hang up and let's finish this show.
All right. Thanks, listener, and everybody. We'll talk to you later, counselor.
Yeah, adios, Bart.
Later, Buster.
Charming story. What is it supposed to prove?